All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a story about what happens when unbelievable power decides to just hide in plain sight. It's a wild ride of betrayal, a secret identity, and a seriously epic return to power.
So our story kicks off right after a literal medical miracle. This guy, Qin Chang'an, pulls off something no one thought was possible, and then, poof, he just vanishes. The whole city is talking, right? But Qin? He has zero intention of letting anyone know who he really is. At least, not yet.
See, here's the thing. Despite having all this insane influence, Qin chose to live a totally normal, quiet life. But that choice to stay under the radar, it put him on a direct collision course with some really ungrateful people from his past. I'm talking about Julie and the guy whose entire career he secretly bankrolled, Wang Shuai.
And let's be super clear about this. Wang Shuai's entire life, his business, his social status, the whole shebang, it was all basically a gift from Qin. Every single opportunity, every single dollar came from the very man he was about to publicly shame. He had no idea, absolutely no clue who was really behind his success. So get this, at this big party, packed with all the city's VIPs, Wang Shuai invites Qin just so he can mock him. He's showing off all his money and his connections, and the irony is just dripping, right? He's looking down on the very person who built his entire life for him. And standing right there next to Wang Shuai is Julie, his old partner, and she's just as bad. She gives Qin this look of total disgust, completely blind to the insane amount of power hiding behind that quiet smile. And you know what? In that moment, she pretty much sealed her own fate.
But okay, this personal drama, this incredible lack of gratitude, it all starts to look like small potatoes. Why? Because a much, much bigger threat was starting to emerge on the world stage. And this is where the story takes a massive turn.
Turns out, some really powerful international players started getting nervous about this mysterious Dragon King group. They were scared of its influence, and frankly, terrified of what would happen if the real owner ever decided to step out of the shadows and take charge. And guess who decides to join this little conspiracy? Yep, Wang Shuai himself. He sees his chance to grab the ultimate prize, so this treacherous protege decides to bite the very hand that fed him. He actually thinks he can take the throne for himself.
What when word of this betrayal and the huge threat to his entire global empire gets back to Qin, he just knows. He can't stay hidden anymore. The time for being the humble, quiet guy, that's over. It's time to act.
And you could just see it. Something inside him just snapped. That calm, easygoing vibe was gone, and in its place was this cold fury. You could tell this wasn't just about business anymore. Oh no, this was personal.
This is the big moment, the turning point. The decision has been made. That quiet, ordinary life, it's officially over. The king is coming back to reclaim his throne, and the entire world is about to see who he really is.
And the big reveal? Wow, it is straight out of a movie. Qin Chang'an walks into his own company headquarters and every single top executive stands up at the same time. And with just 4 words, in one powerful moment, his true identity is out there for everyone to see.
So now he's back in the driver's seat, and the Dragon King moves fast. I mean, breathtakingly fast. He starts dismantling the entire plot against him and delivers some very swift, very decisive justice to the people who betrayed him.
Just try to picture this scene, okay? Wang Shuai and his new buddies are in a meeting putting the final touches on their hostile takeover, and all of a sudden, the main screen flickers on. And whose face do they see? The guy they all thought was a total nobody. Can you even imagine the shock in that room? It must have been absolute.
And the fallout was just immediate and total. Within a matter of hours, Qin systematically took apart Wang Shuai's entire empire. We're not just talking about a defeat here. This was a complete and utter wipeout. A real lesson in what happens when you cross the wrong person.
So what about Julie? Well, when she finally found out the truth, her whole world just came crashing down. The ordinary man she looked down on was actually the most powerful person she had ever met. So, of course, she comes crawling back, begging, literally pleading for a second chance.
But the Qin she's facing now, he's not the same guy. He dismisses her without even a second thought. His words are just cold, final. It's a brutal reminder that some choices you make, you can't undo them.
So with his enemies crushed and all those old scores settled, Qin Sheng On finally, and very publicly, steps into his role as the Dragon King. This is the start of a whole new era.
He wasn't just some secret healer anymore or a benefactor pulling strings from the shadows. Nope, he had become who he was always meant to be, a true ruler. One who gets that real leadership needs compassion, but also knows when it's time to bring down the hammer.
And by his side now, he's got a new ally, Su Sujiao. And what's different is that she respects him, the man, not just his power. And you can see a new bond starting to form there, one that's actually built on real respect and trust.
And so we're left with this incredible transformation. It feels like an ending, but really, it's just the beginning. The world now knows that this powerhouse is back, and he's not hiding anymore. He's here to rule. Which leaves us with one final thought. What does the world do when a dragon decides to finally spread its wings?